You're down, but you're not out. So the 2024 numbers are in, and the Jeep Gladiator has just continued to fall off of this cliff that just never seems to end. So they sold only about 9,000 of these in the last quarter. And you're seeing all sorts of incentives on them now. Jeep put out a 20% off of MSRP on certain models, which is the Rubicon and the Mojave. But the thing is, if you want that 20%, you know, those have to be 66 grand or more, which is wild. But yeah, since their peak in 2021, where they sold 89,000 of these, in 2024, they sold 42,000. And man, so that's, you know, a drop of like 60% or more in just a few years. And I feel like because of bad management and not the greatest of advertising or anything, that this vehicle was never really given a chance. You got to think, it's only been around since 2019. You know, how many vehicles out there are that young, right? Very few. You know, you do have some brand new ones that introduce like the Hornet and stuff like that. But from truck standpoint, yeah, this was the same time as the Ranger comeback, and that hasn't been the greatest either. But man, have they not taken hits like these folks have. So here's a more affordable one. So this is a 4x4 Sport. I like that color. You know, it's not a terrible vehicle, right? You get a V6 4x4. You got a usable bed. Yes, it's only 5 feet, but hey, that's kind of the industry standard now. You know, so what do we got on price here? Base MSRP, not terrible, $37,895, right? You guess this one has some options and so on, right? So you're at 44 grand, and they've got a ton of money off on these things. You know, I was searching around the internet, and I've found them being discounted, you know, well north of $20,000. Now, when you actually call the places to see if you can get that deal, magically that vehicle has disappeared. So yeah, here's another Sport, 44 grand. But yeah, Jeep, the Gladiator, it slid, I believe, 22% compared to the previous quarter. And before that, it was like 37% down. And it just continues to go down and down and down, unfortunately. Put in the comments what you think about the Gladiator and its future. Should Jeep just give this the axe and kind of cut their losses? Or do you feel like it could make a comeback? Because there's a lot to work with here that's not bad. You know, this can tow 7,700 pounds. That's a lot for a mid-sized truck, right? Yeah, the fuel economy is not the greatest, but you can still get a manual transmission in this vehicle. And I don't know if they killed off of the diesel. I haven't seen a diesel in a long time. I'll have to look that up. But yeah, put in the comments what you think. Should they get rid of it? So here we go. Rubicon, $59,750. So even this one wouldn't qualify for that 20% off MSRP. And I don't think you're gonna find too many of those left over, because honestly, people are picking these up now. You know, they really are. I talked to the sales folks in here, and those incentives are working. I do feel that their next quarter is going to be a lot stronger, you know, because they are kind of doing the right thing and getting pricing back into reality on some of these vehicles. So when they put the Jeep out, they made it just too expensive. You know, it did not meet the group that it was competing with, right? The segment, it was way off. A lot of these Rubicons and loaded out Mojaves and stuff like that were $66,000, $70,000. You know, compare that to a Ford Ranger that's 40 grand, right? That's just a whole different market, right? So even this one here, we're still at $59,000 and they have a markup. So 60,752 bucks. I don't believe that markup will stand. But I did search around, and the cheapest one that I found this just silly advertisement that they were gonna sell a Nighthawk for 18,000 bucks. So I called the dealer and they were like, oh yeah, we don't have that. But what we do have is like these sports, and you can get about 11 grand off of them. I was like, well, that's a lot different than, 27 grand. So I don't know. What do you all think's going on here at Jeep? Right? Some of their other vehicles had a fairly okay, pretty strong quarter. Man, these 4xEs, they had a lot of money on the hood, and it worked. Their sales went up frickin' 37%. And just even the regular Wrangler over here, they're up 27%. So honestly, they're down overall, like as a brand, right? We all know that. And this is the 6th year in a row that they've been down. But they had a pretty strong finish on certain vehicles. The Wagoneer sales were freaking up 48%. And Jeep Grand Cherokee sales were way up. It's just some of these other vehicles, like the Gladiator, unfortunately, that are dragging it down, So as a company, as a brand, I feel like they have to kind of look at their lineup and make a decision, is because they're definitely losing money on these. But I do feel that from FCA and Stellantis, Jeep is one of their strongest brands. And they would be foolish not to prioritize them. So put in the comments what you all think. Would you get rid of this Gladiator? You know what I would do? I'd maybe get rid of this, and I would make a mid-size truck for Ram. I'd bring back the Dakota or the Ram 1000. I have no idea why they have never done that. A good friend of mine and I, we have been griping about that for years and years and years. They've left so much money on the hood. That segment had a booming year. I'll make more videos about that, But I mean, look at this Ram. If you made a kind of a miniature version of the Ram that was a lot more affordable, I feel like they would sell like hotcakes, and maybe do the plug-in hybrid stuff for the people that are chasing fuel economy and things, and you would have a real winner on your hands. So I don't know. I have mixed feelings about this. I feel like they could do better with the Gladiator, but I also feel like had they invested that money into a mid-size Ram, the results would have been much better. So, thanks for watching. We'll see you.